Welcome back to the Glaze Studio. I'm Kumati Sivasankaran. We are in class 3 of the Vijaya Lakshmi painting. This is the one of 8 goddesses of health, wealth, success, and all prosperities in life. And we have chosen Vijaya Lakshmi to work with in this set of classes. Vijaya refers to success, and success is sure to come to all of you. Thank you for choosing this, and let's get on to the work. Today's session, before we get on to today's session, let's just quickly go over what we have done so far in our previous two classes. Previous two classes was really about planning. We planned, we looked at the images, though these images are really, well established images that's been painted zillion times and known so proficiently in some parts of the world. We decided to do a twist with that, to take challenge those images with small little girls, and we have worked on the grids, we have planned on them in the class 1, and we have moved to the stage of execution in class 2. Yeah, so we are celebrating diversity, we are bringing in the girl child empowerment thought process also while we are working on this painting, learning this painting. Amazing. So this class is going to be to kind of define a little further what we have done in the previous class. And to define that, we need colors. We need to block this space. Right now, it's all A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all these numbers sitting. We need to take them out and clear the noise that we have created with all these numeric values, and look at the picture. Yeah, so that is the first stage, and for this first stage we are going to do blocking or filling in colors. We will start first to fill in the colors of the skin tone, and then work towards the other objects and other parts of the picture. Before filling in, I also do check on what I want to do with the picture. There is one thing I think I also spoke about it when I did the previous session, that this picture itself is so small in our reference. She is a small little girl, and we did use a small little girl's reference to work on. Um, the face of the girl, as we saw in the picture, is a little small. We can make it slightly bigger as we work on this, and also align the body a little bit. The body size looks fit. The face needs to be slightly bigger, and then we can possibly adjust a little bit on the hands if we need. Let's see. So we are going to do that while we work on the face as such. So the color that I'm going to use, this is a very light skin tone that I see. I prefer taking a lighter skin tone by using vermilion and a bit of yellow ochre, and mixing titanium white to that. I'm going to show you that right away. But before that, in terms of the materials and the details, we had gone through that in great levels of detail when I did the basics. So in case you haven't gone through that, please do that. I am going to switch to showing you a little bit of what I have here in my um, palette here. So I already have a lot of colors. So what I have here is this mixture of um, that you see here is this mixture of yellow ochre and a little bit of vermilion added, and a lot of white that is giving you a lighter skin color complexion here. And this is what I'm going to apply here. And the paints are all the same that I have discussed in the basics, the brushes and the paints. when I work on them, each and every one, I will also show you that, so you get an idea as to what I am doing. Okay. So it was titanium white, um, and yellow ochre right here, yellow ochre and vermilion that I had mixed. And you see that I have many brands. Again, we discussed brands in the basics. So I'm going to move directly into the process. I have brush number 1 flat, and I'm going to use that to get started with this color. To first fill in. So this is a filling and blocking session. So keep that in mind. The focus is to fill it in and kind of give an overview. Of course, we'll do a bit of details because eyes and such need a bit of detailing. Otherwise, it's really hard for us to imagine. Also, we'll do that, but the focus is more on blocking rather than focusing on details. Yeah. So keep that in mind and let's work on the face. I'm going on filling in the color. Uh, Leaving a little bit space for the eye, whatever is already drawn here. Not going to touch that. Um, yeah. When I do this, I can see the scope for making it slightly bigger here. The lip is bigger already in the way I drew, so it is helping in a way to make this face slightly bigger. On the sides, just going one notch up to fit in the storyline of this whole uh, yeah whole canvas. And then the neck again, I think the neckline that we created is good enough, so I'm just going with that. The face, maybe I'll make it slightly one notch bigger. ah So it's all, she's now hiding inside all this color. So, mm. And what is happening also, we need to note this, that our colors tend to mix with the colors that are already there in the uh, canvas. Which means in my case, the blue and the red that I use, vermilion that I use, is also blending in, which is okay. In your case, if you have like for example, if you have used lead pencils, it will blend, yeah, and give another tonality. So do not panic. You can boil that down and mellow that down rather in the upcoming layers. Yeah, that's why I say when the colors mix, they kind of help any which ways. Oil paints, the colors help each other. But it's not the case with lead. It's a little bit of a challenge. I'm only filling out the arms and not the hands. We talked about the hands, isn't it? The importance of the hands, and each of the hand has something, and we want to make sure that they're holding it right and such. So I'm just filling in the hands, and I feel that the size of the hands that we have drawn already, at least in my case, is matching the face now. So the focus is now on the hands, meaning we give enough spacing for the thumb and the fingers, and bring it down and fill colors in. So you're going to fill the color in. You're not going to draw anything today or do the detailing today. You're just making sure that the hand is filled in like that. So let's do that here as well. Mm-hmm. And here as well. Okay, this hand is actually behind the shield. Now I remember what to call this. Okay, this is a shield. One of the armor is behind the shield. Okay, and then the hands that are blessing us. There's a hand that is behind, holding the sword. Be very careful to give that, fill that. You might ask, how do I fill? It's a line, so you're just, with a brush, flat brush like this, I'm able to make that line go slightly thicker. So there is space enough for each and every finger and the thumb. Mm. We have filled that in. So it works now. Okay, I think I have the core things done. Let's look at her eye. Her eyes. Now we are going to work on some details because it's looking like we've painted her with nothing. So we're going to give her a kind of overview of the nuance, not necessarily the detail. So it's just the overview, meaning, just refining where the eyes are, where the eyebrow is, where the nose, where the lips are, and so on. So the eye as such is, it's black, isn't it? It's a beautiful black eye. I don't know which country this girl is from. Anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, she's a black-eyed girl, and then there is a little bit of spot of white that is, in the eye. You can see in between. It's really on the sides of the eyeball that we need to build that white. So I'm going to do the white. It's not whitey white. I'm just going to fill in a little bit of titanium white to help me in the process of defining the eye. Okay, over here also. And I will also use the same titanium white in between the lips because her teeth is showing. She's so happy. She's showing all her teeth, whatever she has and more. Okay, so I'm just filling it in now. She looks funny here, but she's going to look pretty in a short while. So I'm going to go over and take a little bit of ivory black to define the eye. Okay, the eyeball is defined, and now I can use that black to kind of do the contour of her upper eyelid. The way it comes down, the under eye doesn't, it doesn't have too much of darkness there, so just a slight suggestive line will help. The upper eye is much more, refined here. Okay, so I think I have managed that, and I will use this. I don't want to go with the black. I have yellow ochre with me all the time in my palette. To that, I'm adding this black, whatever I have remaining in the zero brush. I'm using the zero brush, so I'm using that to go over the eyelid a little bit, and also the eyebrows. There you go. Yes, the eyebrows are now fine. I'm going to just do the nose one more time here. So I'm just rubbing off or using the skin color to hide what I did in the previous session because I want to do it fresh when I see it here. I'm using the same yellow ochre mixed with a slight bit of black to do the nostrils or the holes kind of. Yes. Okay. I think that is enough. I don't want it to look totally. And then I'm just doing the curve that is coming from the nostrils towards her, the edges of her lip. That is the curve defining her cheek and that beautiful smile of hers. Ah, this is hard to copy, but she is beautiful. It's so good. So I'm just doing that, and I'm also defining the chin bone using the same color. So now this is slightly more refined. I'm going to blend it in some places where I want it to be, sort of suggestive yet. We will come to the details of how we are blending and such in the upcoming layers. Um, in a much more detailed fashion, so do not worry about that if you don't catch this right. I'm just blending in some places so that the color doesn't look totally um, in the face. Yeah. So now I'm going to use, to the yellow ochre that I already have, I'm going to take a little bit of vermilion and blend it in so that I get a stronger lip color. It's almost like a maroon color. I'm going to use that here. That will help me enhance and show her the way her lips are. Um, and of course, we can switch the color, change the color to the lightest pink that we see in her face when we come to the next levels of layers that we will work on. Yeah. So I'm using that. Okay. That smile is just infectious. And I wanted to bring down that lip line here, and there is an angle about her lip line also. Yes, we achieved that here. The way she's smiling, the way she's, that's success. Yes, amazing. So we have managed that, and I think this is fine enough. Now let's go on to working on her hair. Her hair is a kind of on the color that we created with the yellow ochre and a little bit of um, black. That was the darker color that we created, and I think it is coming close to that. What we see in her hair texture, at least for a beginning level of work. So let's do that. Yellow ochre mixed with a bit of black. So let's work on that and see how that goes. I think it's a good base. Maybe it's not the perfect color, but it's a good base to fill right now. And okay, she's got a lot of hair running around. She's been playing and busy. I can tell. And her hair behind is curly a little bit. I'm going to put some hair here as well. Ah, yes, I'm happy with it. Okay, and there's a lot of hair that is falling. That's what do you call baby hair falling in front on her forehead. That I'm not going to do now. So you'll see that it's so plain here. There's a lot of forehead visible, and it really helps that we work on the layers and layers of the facial skin tone. And once we are ready with the facial skin tone, it'll be very easy for us to draw those baby hair strands very easily. So we're not going to do that now. And now I'm going to take, I think if we add to the yellow ochre and the slight black that we mixed, if we add a bit more of permanent yellow or lemon yellow, we get a kind of color that looks like gold, or not necessarily gold, but a gold related, yeah, thing that could go for her tiara, um, the crown, and also all these elements that are there in her hand. Most of it is, let's say, most of it is gold, except for the shank. Shank is the shell that's going to be in white. Most of the other things can be drawn in that color, at least for now. And I will just, this is a rope kind of a thing, and it has a base, and I'm doing that. And the sword also can be done in that color. There is a flower here, I think. She's holding what is she holding? That's the lotus flower, so no problem. Let's work on the sword. Okay, we're done with the sword, and also use this for her jewelry spacing. We're not going to work on the detailed jewelry today. We're just going to do that jewelry spacing and also the band or the um, belt in her hip. So that's done. Now we have the shank that is to be done. I'm going to take a bit of white to in the tip of my brush. I'm just lazy. I'm just filling it in like that. So that's also done. The shank is also done. All the elements are done. Now we need to work on her clothing. Let's look at the color. Now I have a color chart. Oh, wow. That's purple. Okay, purple it is. No questions. I'm going to take, what do I do? The purple, I'm going to take ultramarine blue and crimson and bit of white. So I'm going to go the purple way. So I think I have ultramarine blue, crimson, and when I mix it, I get the darkest of the purples. I'm going to add white to that to lighten it up. I have a nice purple base for her dress. Good. That's it. That's the color. Okay, if I want to, make it, like I said, this is blocking. So there's going to be more color ranges coming that you will see when we move on to the next layers. Do not worry too much about it. If you have chosen another color, by the way, yes, you are welcome to choose different colors and, show different, attributes in that manner if you want. The key elements are that they have the girl is having all this 8 hands and is showing all this elements of success. Yeah, otherwise you are welcome to choose anything that you feel fit for this. If it is purple, I think I will go for a yellow background, or uh, yeah, why not? Or a pink background. I'm still debating. Let's see. Okay, that's where her knees are. So when I go very close to the hands, I'm just being careful not to spoil what I have done. I'm just going for the remaining aspects of what is to be painted over here. Okay, let's do this. Mm, I think this is fair enough. This is good. So we'll make a stop with this and focus on now. Do you see that it looks a little better now that we have cut down on the noise of all the grid lines and such? And in case the grid lines are still visible, do not worry. Mm, I'm assuming that you're using very less of oil mediums. Oil mediums tend to dilute a lot of the color, and then they will create translucent even further. We don't need it now. Let's work on the lotus flower. That has got to be a crimson. So I've got crimson, and I'm going to take that, and I take a little bit of um, white to work with. I think this will work for me here. You see that this color is okay. That's a nice color, and I'm going to build on this. If I want that bigger lotus, because there has to be an idea that the lotus is also, she's seated in the lotus, inside the lotus, base of the lotus, and then the flowers, petals are covering her. So we need to give that effect, which means, I'm just making the size slightly, going to very quickly work on the angles of these petals, so we could see what we are trying to build. So I'm just building this slightly bigger than what we had initially done, and giving this angles of petals showing from behind, giving an idea that, okay, so that's a huge flower that she is seated on. This is going to be the okay. So I guess I have managed to show that flower being slightly bigger here. Yes, good, all fine here. Playing around with the color to fill it in, block, focus on blocking. The petals aren't showing very fine. It's so flat. Of course, it will be flat. So the focus is that we are blocking everything and seeing how the color coordination works, um, and how the overall picture is growing. So for us to measure the growth, it's helpful, especially at a stage where you're still learning to blend in concepts and create your own, artwork, this is a good exercise. When you are getting better and better, and with practice, then you could take the risk of doing one portion, one angle, and filling that in, doing the best and giving it the finish line, and then moving on to the other part and such. We can do that, also possible, but not when you are still learning. Yeah, because when you're learning, especially with artists like us, who are artists are really attention to detail people in many cases. There are exceptions, but we tend to get carried away by the details, and then the overall picture isn't looking fine. The detail is perfect, one detail or a couple of details are perfect, but they don't hang together. So we don't want such a thing to happen. So just do everything relating to a canvas. Just consider the board. So every layer, the board has to be, the board or the canvas has to be full of the color that you are doing, all the colors that you are doing. Then you move on to the next layer, and then to the next layer. So some more petals from the bottom need to be done. I'm moving the camera slightly so you could see what I'm doing here. And then we are ready for the background. And the background, I'm thinking, I want shades of red in the background because, somehow not sure whether it'll overpower or help in the process. I just want to experiment that shade of red that can be mellowed down also to a soothing. It's a warm color. Red is a warm color, but we could use that as well, I'm thinking. Or we could do only crimson, what we have here, that we used here. Crimson with a lighter side of blue. Let's see. Because we did the purple, so what will be the strongest side of it? So I'm experimenting here. I might go wrong. I'm learning, and I love that process. Okay, it's getting to a kind of maroon color texture because I added what I had here. Was a little bit of ultramarine blue, and it is coming to this maroon color texture. Thinking. Okay, add white. Then it gets. Let's see how it gets to where it gets to. Okay, it is lighter than the pink of the flower. If I can add a little more of white and make it even pronounced lighter, then it'll be, oh yes, I like this. So it's really on the pinky side. The purple goes with that pink, I think. Yeah. Let's see. Experimenting all the time. Yeah, yes. This is okay. This is like the, a rose's petal pink that is coming up here. And then, of course, we can mellow down it a little more with a little more of white. Yes, of course, we can. Yes, it is mellowed down now. Fair enough. Does it look pretty? Testing goes on like this in my place. I think it looks pretty, so I'm going to go for this. So what I'm going to do now is to take a bit of this color to first do the contours and make sure that I don't end up spoiling anything that I did. So I'm just going over the contours of her face and her arms, going around all these objects. And this brush that I'm using is brush number 5 round. And if you want to switch to a smaller brush to work on the contours, you may do so. There is no restriction. If you feel comfortable with a smaller brush to do the contours and all these minute, delicate places, you could do that and come back to a larger brush when we are done with anything close to the body or the key attributes of this picture. Remember that we have a slight bit of space between the hip and the arms, so that's also to be considered here. And I think we managed this section. Okay, this is done. So the flower, even though that is also a crimson, we need to really define it when we come to the next layers. We'll have to start defining it slightly different. And I think I would rather use that. Lotus flowers really have a lot of variety in them. Even in the pink, there's this umpteen opportunities for us to shade them differently. And this pink can also grow in a different direction, so they are still in the crimson zone and yet they are different from each other. We can achieve that, I think. Okay, so I am going around the contours of the lotus flower. Mhm. Coming back to her arms and all the attributes, that all the elements that she's holding in her arms. Oh, there is also this. Okay, let's take the. There is a lotus flower. I missed it. Did you? Okay. So I did the old crimson color that I used for this big lotus, and now I'm back to the pink background. Oh wow! So I'm just gonna go from here. Top. I have made sure that that the crown is slightly slanted because she's also, in a way, smiling and looking at us so confidently, and there is this, there is this tilt of her face that I have captured from the image that we picked up. Uh, so just to match that, I have done that. Now I think we are. Okay, coming close to the last of the contours, and then we can work on the larger framework a little faster. This is what is a tricky space here. Okay, I managed fine to come through this. Okay, yes. Contours down. Let's move on to a bigger brush. I have a bit of blue left over in my flat brush number 11, and I think it is okay because we had a bit of blue in the original mixture. Yeah, nothing happens. It's all good. I'm pushing the color through in all these places. Even though I'm using hard strokes, I'm trying to see that it's smoothly covering all the sections nicely. Yeah. And also, there's one more thing that I would like to highlight here, that I prefer working on the sides of the canvas as well, even though there is nothing there in the sides in terms of key elements. Because I like to give my customers the opportunity to choose between, leaving the painting as such on their walls versus, choosing a frame. So that's one of the aspects. And also, it helps to see the finish and how it goes when the sides are also done nicely. There is about 1.5 centimeters of side clothing that we miss out on um, in every canvas that is mounted on a wooden frame, depending upon the size of the wooden frame. That could be, I have also seen wooden frames that holds up to 3 centimeters of spacing on the sides. So again, that all can actually be used to propel the story, whatever you're trying to say. Maybe in this picture it's just a monotone, but depending upon what you are trying to say, you could actually use the sides effectively. I want to use the paints that are here to fill the sides. So I'm going to work on the sides now. Wow. One side done. Moving on to the other side, I'm going to just move this around so you get to see what I really mean by the side. That's it here. Work on the sides, better now. You can see better than me in your angle. So. So you see that most of the grid lines that we have done is gone. We still have some of them visible, but it is fine. In the upcoming layers, we will get that. We have managed to complete the sides as well. Okay, so before we close the session, let's quickly look at what we have learned today. Today's session was all about layer two, that is the layer that is helping us block colors and kind of crystallize the idea that we had defined in our first ever class. So now we have that idea looking back at us. Yeah. So now we have to grow this idea into a further refined artwork. So that's the goal. And at this stage, I will also suggest that you take a break, let this color sit and also dry. If depending upon the mediums that you're using, it could dry a little later or faster. And also, even if it is drying faster with your faster medium that you might be using, give it some time so that you can rethink, and maybe you want to readjust certain things, or want to play around with the colors. So you get more ideas when you actually take an objective look, and which that for that to happen, you need to have some separation away from the art as such, I feel. So this is a good stage for you to take a break, a couple of days, 3 days, and then you come back and you will know more on what is wrong and where exactly should I focus, because you will see videos of every single growth, and every single aspect of it that we have gone through, we are going to go through again and again and again. But for you to decide on which part of these videos should I focus more on, and go back more again and again to, this is also going to be a defining point. Yeah, keep that in mind and take a time off and come back to the next class fully refreshed and fully ready to nail this painting, nail success down. Yes, this is a success by itself, and congratulations to you to have reached this far. And let's meet up in the next session. Before we meet up, I would definitely love to say you should stay blessed, stay happy, stay healthy, stay fit, stay motivated to see success through. See you. Bye bye.